Test. Hello. Hi, Polo. Yawn. What's up? Well, yeah. I want to add support for arrays to my uniform buffer. I think this is an old remnant of using an array. Normally we just dereference it because it's a pointer. But when it's array we can dereference it with some index. So apparently I want okay, now I'm not sure. Have an index like this, I would have an array of top positions. That again is something else than having an array inside the struct. Both need to be supported, isn't it? Or not clear at all. Well, I don't know. Let's add support for an array of floats, for example. So bang, now X is an array instead of a float. What does that mean for this offset? Oh, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I'm still surprised that there are so many people just like what I am streaming, because a lot of the time I'm just thinking, in my opinion, that it should be boring to watch, but maybe it's easy, yeah, better to follow than I think. If of course, if you can put yourself in my mind and follow what I'm thinking, maybe it's kind of like reading a story of going on to an adventure. Maybe I should make that a little bit easier by explaining more, I guess. But I'm still thinking faster than I can talk, so it's kind of difficult. Anyway, adding a 30 here is for testing purposes, and that obviously means that if then I want to, if there is no change necessary in this assert here, what am I testing then? It would be nice if this assert would fail, and until I added support for, at least partial support for arrays. Now maybe it becomes a little bit more interesting if I, for example, okay, let me change this back to what it was. So while it compiles, I was thinking I'm going to add an array before the X. That would change the offset. And at the moment it's not clear at all how to, yeah. Yeah, how to design the interface for this. Guess I'll just make up when I go. Position should come in here. So, oh wait, yeah, I wanted to run it just to see that it works. It still works. And then say I add a float in front of it. It's unused, but call it Y. I also have to change this, which tells the Vulkan engine what the layout is. And this should automatically make everything work. You just tell it that there is a Y in front of the X. And actually put the Y there, of course. And then the rest should be automatically generated using this information. It should still work. However, I'm testing that the offset of X inside top position equals what we expect. And yeah, therefore I have to change this in 2. Because 0 is this one, 1 is this one, and 2 is this one. So this is how I access the information that I make here. Is accessed by using a specialization of this template. Specialization using top position. And then, yeah, whatever, with this incantation magic, I'll get the offset of X. As expected by GLSL. And this, of course, is the offset of X in the C++ struct. And they must correspond. I'll have to try hard not to be upset if this doesn't work, but it works. Great. So that works as expected. But now what if I make this an array? That's what the support that I want to add. You know what, if I make X an array, and then I get a little problem that X is no longer, then I would have to change it a little bit where X is being used. But at least the offset would not change them. Let me try that first, even though I know already that... And it doesn't even compile, so I cannot do it. Let's even be minimal. I mean, if I use a 1, it should still work, right? Because this array has the same size, and therefore the static assert is still correct. The offset of x did not change. I should open top position directly. But if I make it to true, then it does not work anymore. So now the static assert is failing. So as a good first step, I guess I can make this work. And this line should not be changed because, yeah, just element x of top position, that's the offset. And it is still variable number 2. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't tell it that it is an array here. But let's say I fix this, and I don't even know how yet, but say I fix it, then this line remains the same, because the 2 simply means, yeah, still means the x, right? This tuple is able to contain information about arrays. So we're going to have a tuple with information about mat2 at index 0 and about the array y at index 1 and then the float x at index 2. And of course nothing here changes. We're still talking about top position and offset. Okay, so I'm not going to change this, but I want it to compile. And the only way to do that then is to make a change here on this line, telling it that we're now talking about an array. Seems to me that there are two obvious possibilities. One, I could add a 2 here, or maybe I can add a 2 here, but I must say this one looks better if that's possible. And a third option would be that I just change the macro. So change the macro to array member or anything, if a larger change is necessary. I would like it if this was possible. So let's have a look at what the macro member is really doing. It is doing it's making a string of the member name. Yeah, that kind of, we cannot use it, right? I mean, I'm not going to decode a string to figure out that it was an array. So that won't work. I think this still has to be y probably. Or maybe, yeah, probably. I can change the type. That would be possible. I can make this an array. Or I can change struct member. That would mean a change of the macro. Let's have a look at the struct member exactly looks like. Well, my eye falls on it. There is something already for it. Specialization or arrays. Not using it yet, but I already wrote it. So yeah, clearly the X layout is the one that has to be changed. And then turning it into an array will give us a new template argument equal to the size of the array, which is then incorporated into the magic that happens after that. So it should automatically use this if I'm passing something that is an array, right? If I did this correctly. And then X layout is the second argument, the second template a variable, what is it? Which is 1, 2, member type. So that's the first one, okay. So let's try that then. I'm going to make this an array 2 and y remains like that. It seems that this should be the way it works, and I'm just being completely stupid because there it is. It is already there. That's the way to add an array, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna use that old code. So let's do an unused 2 array or double size 4, and I'm just completely idiot having added y there instead of just using what there was already there. Now I'm not sure if this is still going to work, but hey, if it works, then this assert will not fire, because apparently I did already support it. Yeah, and Nitro Derby is back. Hello. The static assert does fail. That's yeah. Too bad, too bad. It says 64 equals 96. Now I have to say the 96 is pretty damn large, so maybe it did work. I just have the wrong offset in the C++ structure. Let me show you what we have here. Member layout, top positions, containing class. And then we get vulkan shader builder basic type layout. Standard is 140. Base type is eFloat. Well, I cannot remember anymore what these things mean. Offsets and alignments and stuff like that. Oh, but this is for the unused one. We have to look at unused 2. Which then would be our array. So I'm gonna go for this 4 here. You see the highlight? That's our array size. And the 96 is here, that is the offset. Yeah, that would be the offset of the next element. So that's going to be calculated as the previous offset plus 4 times the size of the array or something like that. Or 4 times the array stride rather. Now the previous offset was this one, right? 32. So you have the whole bunch of integers here and a whole bunch of integers here. So if 69 belongs to this unused 2, then I'm guessing that this one belongs to the one before that. So we go from 32 to 96. That's 64. And then we have to divide by 4 because that's the size of the array, so it's 16. So the array stride is 16. Well, I guess that this is the array stride and or this is the array stride. So the whole thing seems to work, I would say. I think the 96 is correct. Yeah, I have to say that there is a definite problem with arrays here. But I think it's pretty important to make sure I think I have to make sure that the 96 is correct before I start to change this structure. And there are 2 ways to do that. One way would be to rerun a test that I used to figure it out in the first place. But of course I cannot remember anymore where the test is or how it works. And the other one would be to look at my analysis and then see what the offset should be for X in this case. Right, so where did I put it? There's readme. Nope. Readme descriptors also not. It's probably not in tests. Well, probably also not this readme. Nope. And then I have a shader builder is a definitely good option. tests maybe. What is a test here? Allocator test. No, not. Descriptor. Well, it doesn't even have a readme. Math maybe. It's possible I put it in one of those GLSL files, but sure. Also list shadow builder. It does have a readme. I think this is it. But I don't see my final conclusions. Well, that's Superman. Okay, I'm annoyed by my own memory. I mean, come on. The only thing I can still remember now is that I put it on Reddit. I think I put it somewhere in one of my source files. Now I need to remember a keyword. It was in math. Or not. Nope. Oh, that's my test case. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, I think I already looked at those files. I worked on this like a long time, and then I wrote an overview, and I posted it on Reddit, and then I would not have that on file on my own hard disk. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm gonna go with this one, I think. Or I can find back on Reddit by looking for this string. Nope. Nope. Reddit. No. Special guest. What the fuck is that? No, I cannot even find back my own login apparently. Where's the logout? Well, then finally I find back on Reddit. Crazy. So really, I do not have a file on my hard disk that contains this. I'm just grabbing, say, the size of all scalars are 4 bytes. That should be part of it. Nope. Unbelievable. Well then, okay. The double is 8 bytes. Everyone can forget about bool_int and uint. They are exactly the same as a float with respect to alignment, size, array stride, etc. For scalars, and when using std scalar, any layouts, any basic type, the alignment is equal to the size of the basic type. But we are not using scalar, otherwise standard 140, that's what we're using. The alignment of vectors is equal to 2 or 4 times the base size. Two when they have 2 rows and 4 when they have 3 or 4 rows. Okay, what was I dealing with here? Mod 2. There's a 2 by 2 matrix of floats. Otherwise, okay, this is about vectors. I do not have a vector. Otherwise, matrices. The alignment of matrices is equal to the alignment of one of its columns, a vector C.3 above, but for std 140 rounded up to 16. Well, we don't have anything to do with alignment because alignment here is just, it's in the beginning of the struct. For vectors, and when using std scalar layout, any basic type, the size is equal to the size of the base type. Otherwise, std 140, the size is equal to the alignment times the number of columns. So I do need to know alignment then. The alignment of matrices is equal to the alignment of one of its columns, a vector. But for standard 140 rounded up to 16 bytes. Okay, so the alignment of a vector of size 2. The alignment of a vector is equal to 2 or 4 times the base size. And the base size is 4, because we have a float. And we have 2 rows, so it is 2. So the alignment is 2 times 4 is 8, but then rounded up to 16 because we have std 140. But the alignment is 16 for a mod 2. The size is equal to alignment, which was 16 times the number of columns, so that's 32. because alignment was 16, size is 32. In GLSL, that is. Now in C++, the alignment would be 4 even for floats, and then times 4 is 16. The size would be 16 because it's just 4 floats, right? Yeah. So I add 4 floats as padding. Would that be correct? And then I get to 16 plus 16 is 32. So this padding is necessary because in C++ the size is 16 and in GLSL the size is 32. So we need 16 bytes padding because size of unused 1 equals 16 instead of 32. And now I want to have a double. The size of a double is 16, sorry, 8. Let's have a look. For STD scalar, the array stride of basic type is equal to the size, otherwise standard 140, that's what we have. The array stride is equal to the alignment of one column in the case of matrices, but simply the alignment, which was 8, right? Okay, for scalars, the alignment is equal to the size of the base type. Yeah, so and double has a size of 8, so the alignment is 8. SD 140 rounded up to 16. So we go from 8 to 16 again, times the number of columns. The number of columns, we don't have a column. I would say the array stride is 16. 7 and 8 can also be formulated as the array stride of any basic type is the larger value of the alignment and size. And alignment was 16. And in the case of standard 16, so we end up with 16 either way. The array stride is 16. Okay, so the array stride is 16. And that makes the size 4 times 16 is 3064. And that makes this offset 69, so it's 96, I mean, so that's correct. But let's have a look. The alignment of an array is equal to the alignment of one of its elements. Okay, well, we were at 32 anyway. The size of an array is equal to the array stride of one of its elements times the number of elements. That's what I did. That gets 64. The alignment of a struct is equal to the largest alignment of its members. The offset of member n in a struct is equal to the offset of member n minus 1 plus the size of member n minus 1. Rounded up to the nearest multiple of the alignment of member n. So in this case we get alignment is 4 and alignment of this thing was sorry, the offset of this thing was 32 plus 64 is 96. Yeah, so offset 96. And yeah, in case you wonder, I had to analyze these rules, because I did not understand the rules that are in the spec, well, the Vulkan spec. The way they formulated it, it's completely incomprehensible. And I really don't know why I do not have this. Just going to make a copy, I guess, of everything. Hmm. Let's add it to... Yeah, either shader builder or GLSL. I think GLSL, the moth, Vulkan moth. Well, yeah. I don't know. Let's just add it to shader builder. Shader builder. This is... I think we lost some line numbers. Some... numbers. Now here I have them again. Weird. Okay, the code is not really necessary because a code I already have, of course. So let's just delete this code, which is already old, I understood. What? The underscore was good. Underscore went missing for some reason. Or I added it later. No, still not. Zero variable layout.h. Well, that's not a line I would expect myself to refer to. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where the code went. So let's just do my future me will have to figure out where it is. Anyway, now I made a copy. The 96 is correct, and I'll have to fix the padding, I guess. So I need more padding here then. I think the array stride is such that padding really belongs to this double. It's like there is a difference between GLS SL double and a double used in an array. I suppose I can do something like, but now this is a bit too fancy and I don't have time for that at the moment, but we could do something like a DLSL array. Comma 4 and use 2. Which then gives us an array, but it will replace this with something that has the correct array stride. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to put time into that now. Let's add a hack here. Not how that works, is it? No, let's not do it like that. I mean, does it even compile? I'm not even sure. So, let's use a standard array here of double, of course. Well, not really. I don't know. I'm just putting everything in a strict. Oh, or I'll make it a union. Yeah, right. So this union here is can be accessed as a double, but it has a size of 16 bytes, alignment of double, and then we put that in an array of size 4. Then we get something with a size of 64. And that's a specialization for GLSL double, GLSL array, which I'm using here. It compiles, it should bring our X to an offset of 96, I think. And yeah, it's clearly a hack. And was not declared. Oh, I forgot to mention it here. Yeah. Well, it seems we got past the static assert, so I did fix that. No, it's not too alarming, I think. It's trying to force an array layout into a basic type layout. And yeah, I made an array of it, so I just have no support for array, and that's correct. That's what I'm implementing. Now, which is the array layout here? I guess this thing. So it kind of works, and our array layout is a is wrapped around the basic type layout. And the basic type layout is yeah, whatever this is, and then with a size of 8 or something. Array stride is 16, I guess, and the size is 4. Maybe I should refresh my memory on what these numbers exactly mean. Let's have a look. Grab project sources. Standard scalar index, rows, calls, alignment, size, array stride. I wish I could remember that. Really. Scalar index. It's another word for the base type. A row call, alignment, size, array stride. Oh, come on, I must be able to remember that. Yeah, so standard, basic type, rows, calls, in other words, it's a scalar. Alignment is 8, size is 8, and the array stride is 16. And the size of the array is 4. Great. We tried to put that into add uniform buffer member. See what we have there. I'm gonna look at this. Well, okay, it is what it is. And this is what it's calling. Because then that is just the declaration. Yep, not a word about array size. So we do have a member layout here. I guess so. So I would say that I'm in need of duplicating this and then turn this basic type layout into a array layout, or was it? I guess so, and that is in shader builder. Yep. And the basic type layout ends here. So guess something like this, array size here. Let's see if I can find something that looks like it. Yeah, I did it before apparently. Okay, instead of adding the size here, I added it to the end. And I called it elements. Control top. And then we have containing class, comma, shader builder, array layout, shader builder, basic type layout, standard scalar index equals calls alignment, size, array start, comma, elements, etc. Yeah, that's the same as I have now here. So if I add this, it should compile but not link. But let me try that. Probably get another compile error, however. Oh, no, that's nice. So that compiles, but you get a link error because it did not implement it. So now we have to add the thing. Size type elements. Yeah, well, okay. Let's go here. Let's make a duplicate of this one as well then. Okay, I want to check if I did that correctly. So this should compile. but um, yeah, the basic type is what it is, I guess. And then we get the M members and place back. Not sure what this thing is doing. What is M members here? Are in uniform buffer base. Okay, so that has a members, which is a members container, which is same as a resource shader resource member container type. Which is a standard vector of shader resource member, which is this very thing, which does have support for arrays already. So currently you have something that's set to 0 and it should no longer be set to 0. And it's set to 0 here. Therefore, apparently we're just missing one argument at the end of the constructor of the shader resource member. Now suppose I'm constructing this thing with simply an array size here. This is the GLSL basic type of the variable or underlying basic type in case of an array. Yay! So that stays the same. The offset of the variable inside is C++ entry struct. I don't think that's correct. I mean, it should be, but it's by definition the GLSL offset. And then the C++ is, has to try to confirm, yeah. But yeah. Array size set to 0, and this is not an array, and otherwise clearly the array size. And the member index, the member index in the struct. So that's, I think that's all that we have to do in order to do this correctly. I might not be calling array size, but for the rest, that looks like all the support we need in the calling function or the creating function. So shader resource member must have one more element to its constructor. And that is then adding to M members, which is being done here to elements, and we're done. The kunk, yeah, rub it in. So, I think we have well, one step further, but now how to test it. Well, for one thing it should... suddenly I don't have it. So weird. And it's not working. We are lost our top. I think I have a pretty good idea though where to continue. Now I saw this. We can look at the generated GLSL. Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, I think the generated GLSL code is wrong. So what you're going to do is write let's do a file. Stupid. And then look at the file. Oh wait, I have a better way. I want to see my colors. I could do less troop and then I have to type -R here. Yeah, anyway, compiling. This is what it generated to... What's my top position? There is it. Completely clueless about the fact that unused 2 is an array of size 4. You saw an artifact in the bottom left. That's not good. What do you mean with artifact? I'm gonna blame it on OBS, okay? Because I have to continue with this. Shrink Cleverton said, do you feel powerful having the knowledge to craft programs that can solve problems that you have in your daily life? I don't think I ever wrote any program that can solve a problem that I have in my daily life. So I cannot answer that. Okay, let's look at the code that generates this declaration and then add support for the array. Now it would be nice if my memory was not so bad and I would just immediately know which file this is generated in. Which file do I use? Well, you know what? Shader Builder is a very good name at the moment. So it should be one of these files. Declaration. Declaration is also not a bad name, but no. Well, maybe .h then. It seems unlikely. Nope. Yeah, what can I say? Declaration is part of it. And I think I found it. Yeah, this is generating. It even has the word generate in it. This is generating the declarations, and then switch uniform buffer, which generates my struct. Here's even the struct word. And then run over all the members. We get the basic type, and then we just write it. Clearly, it completely ignores it when this member is an array. I think what I want to do is the name, type to name, okay, and then a space, okay, and then the member name, okay. But then sometimes we want to write an array size. How can I get the array size from this member? There, array size. It's the only thing that changed as far as I know. So we have an array size, which is member. What did it return? An uint32 type. Uint32 type equals array size. Let's call it array size equals that, and then maybe it looks better if I put it there, even though. So if array size is unequal 0, because 0 is the special meaning, duplication of comments is more or less okay, I think. I really dislike code duplication, but when I repeat the comment in several places, it is, yeah, you could call it bad, because if then later you would change it, you have to update all the comments, right? But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel bad. Now, of course, the real solution would be not to hard code a 0 in it. Let me do, because I have, how many viewers do I have? 34. Okay, we have to do this the right way. The right way is not to add a comment at all, but to add something. Oops. Unequal, yeah, not an array. You could do this, or even better, I can do this. Member, oops, is array, which of course is even much better. Now we're talking about object orientation. Yeah, this is so much better, right? No comment duplication, no hard-coded mysteries, and I can add an assert in array size now, because I should only ask for the array size when it is an array. So what I can do, and go here, and I'm adding assert. But every assert needs a comment. So let's give it a few more lines and then add that comment here. And don't call array size when is array returned false. Now you could do array size equals, so is unequal not an array, and then define not an array as the magic number 0 or another magic number. But I kind of think that now it's okay to hard code a 0 here, because it is just super close to, you know, it's encapsulated, it's all in one class, it fits on one page, and the comment that talks about if set to 0 and this is not an array is just, you know, so close that it's doable. If you wanted to be even more precise, you would indeed do something like a static const expression int 32 type, and then say not an array magic is 0, and then we use that here. Now I typed it, I'll leave it like that, I guess. That's larger than is of course not really working for me anymore, and then it must be unequal. And that then becomes the default. So now you can put any number in here, as long as then you don't try to use it as an actual array size, it will work. But 0 will work because arrays of size 0 are not supported. It's not allowed. Should I delete this? Because, well, yeah, kind of it returns the size. So, m times is not even correct, is size. I should multiply it with array stride. What is the array stride? That's a whole formula. I probably have that formula, but until I need this function, I'm going to leave it like this. Maybe I should delete it so I don't think that it is correct. Am I going to need this size? I don't know yet. How easy is it to get array stride? I think it should be easy. It's just basic type has an array stride. I think it does. Array stride width in bits. That's M array stride. Yep, it does have an array stride. So we should be using array stride here. Nightbot agrees with you. Oh no, sorry. I saw the blue stuff and I was thinking it was one of my moderators. The text, please don't flute the chat with repetition of the same phrases, is my text though. I typed that into Nightbot somewhere. Otherwise I would say silly things. Who likes silly things? So let's try it again. UBT. Just works. Amazing, isn't it? In other words, if now I write it to a file, and then we look at the file, and we look at the compiling, and then we see that now it generated a double unused 4. Ta-da! But that's definitely not all of it, because next we're going to top position. Just add a top position. Now I'm going to make the variable that we're actually using an array. Let me use some prime number 13. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. Because there's nothing after it. But, well, we might see something that's divisible by 13 and we know that's our size. Yeah. Well, let's see if I can do this one. Offset is 96. And the array stride is 16 because the standard is still STD 140. So then the size becomes 13 times 16. Cannot do that out of my head, of course. 13 times 16 is 208. And we have an alignment as well. The alignment is simply 4, I think. Alignment is just alignment of one of the elements, which is alignment of float, which is 4. The alignment of this thing is also no. Alignment is 8. Alignment of double. How long have I been programming? Since I was 12. That's a long time. No, longer than that. Think longer. Please don't ask me how old I am. Okay, what to do next? The float is now an array, yeah. The X is now an array. I have to tell it that it is an array here as well. And since this X changed type, it should no longer compile, but the offset is still correct. So the static assert should not fire. And yes, you had to ask. I knew it. I knew he had to ask. But I'm a vampire, so really I look young and no problem. I'm only 58. Some vampires that I know are over 580. It's more than 10 times Okay, I'll admit it. I just watched this, The Invitation. That's why it is. It's a good movie. I didn't finish it yet. I really like I like vampire movies, especially when there's those guys who are hundreds and hundreds of, maybe even thousands years old, and they just have to maneuver through society, keeping their fortune. Yes, I'm Dutch. So next time people ask me, "Is this your job?" and I say, "No, it's my hobby." So how next time people ask, "How do you get your money?" Haha. Now we know. Then I say, hint. It's been a long time since I saw some sunshine. Which was true for a long time. When I used to live at night, sleep during the day, I think there has been a long time in my life that I hardly saw any sunshine. Completely true. I'm kind of a vampire. Yes, we see that it doesn't compile. Incompatible types. Well, let's edit the line that it has a problem with. I don't know what's going on here. Don't do this to me. Quit. Okay, we don't have an array here yet. I'm just going to do like that. Now this is an array, and if I use 0 here, then we just use the first element of the array. I think that should work. Still work. Well, I just said I didn't have a job. I mean, this is what I do all day. Well, not all day, but if I'm not playing Risk or sleeping or eating, then I'm doing this. So kind of is my job. It compiled. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, we have to change the GLSL code too, of course. But how? So currently I'm writing top position X, and of course what I would like to do is just add a 0 behind it like that, because that's now what we're using, right? There's another one. It compiles UBT and it works again. Amazing, isn't it? It's like magic. I still want to see. I already know, but I still want to see it. What it generated. So this is the code that it generated. or rather this. And if it's just x, if it just x is just x, and if you just add square brackets with an index after it, then it just works. That there is no reason that it would not work, and yeah, I think that even also this has become an array. I think we're done. Well, in terms of arrays that are element of our struct. They still need to make this struct itself an array as well. So then we get an array size here. And that then has to be accessed by adding an array in the middle here, an index. Or definitely slightly different. Nevertheless, let's try accessing another one. You have top position array size. Okay, we used 13 for that now. Oh well, 13 works, 32 is going to work too. And we have an index. So here are our const expressions again. I'm going to replace the 13. It's defined in top position. The name suggests that it's already top position itself as an array. That this is just a member X. But you can't have everything, I guess. And yeah, I'll also have to embed this now somehow in the GLSL code. You would almost say, let's add that as a push constant, because I can of course not paste it in like this. The GLSL code. How can I add a push constant for this thing? It's not even changing, so maybe it should not be a push constant. How can I add it as a constant? It's kind of silly to want, maybe. I can do this. Oh no, it's not working. I'd have to use the GLSL stuff. Well, this is a raw string, by the way. So you do an R and then a quote, and then whatever you want. I could have said hi mom, but I said GLSL. And then a parenthesis open. Then this whole thing is treated as a quote, except that everything within it is now raw string. Which means I can just type cards returns. Everything is taken literally, and then you end again with parentheses closed, and then the same string is here, and then well, an actual quote. So that's yeah, it's nice to use for example, GLSL code. I'm just going to type the 27 in here for now, I guess. Too difficult to do it otherwise. So these are my two different pipelines. And they read the same values for now. Oh. Well, that's weird. Why is that not working? Is the array stride of a float also larger? I guess so. What is the array stride of a float? I think also 16. So I'm gonna have to do something like GLSL array, GLSL float, comma, the size, X. Now we're really starting to use the thing, the hacky thing. Plus I need to implement it. Float. I think the array stride is still 16. And then the problem is, of course, that if we want to access this as an array, we're going to try to access foo. Right? Not even. This is the array. So I have a float operator. Size type. I don't want to work with the size type. I hate unsigned things. I'm just going to use int, and who cares? Int index, and then const return. And then we have m array, And then I take that. Now we have foo. So then X is just D. And now we have the same thing again, but this time we return a non-const reference, and this thing is non-const. So, yes, I'm listening to this music. As long as there's no vocals in it, it's okay. I mean, it's nice. It's better than silent sometimes. And that was it. It works again. So it seems that really for arrays to work kind of nicely, I have to implement this thing here, which is currently this hack. I'm using Arch. Laszlo, I don't know. I started playing chess when I was 18, and that was definitely too late. I never reached a rating of 2000. But I don't know how much brain wiring I did get by coding at age 12 and all. Because there was a time that the computers had 2 MHz clock. The only reason it would be too late is because your brain is already developed so far that you cannot put a certain structure into it anymore, like it's necessary to become a grandmaster in chess. But what I'm doing, I learned in the last decade, because C++ standard. Well, C++ didn't even exist, I think, when I started coding. There's certainly no standard. The standard came way, way, way later. And then they started changing C++. So since 2011. I think the first standard is from 1998 or something. And then 2003 they had a new C++ standard, and in 2011 they made a really big change to C++. So, well, I was already very old then, and I still managed to learn most of it. So I guess it's possible, you know. It's more I am. But yeah, I mean, if you no, I don't think it's too late. No, but you have to take into account, you know, that I used to have an almost perfect memory. Not by far, not anymore now. But when I was 18 and I was telling someone a story, and he said, "You already told me that." That was an incredible shock for me. Incredible shock. I knew I had told some people, but I had forgotten apparently that I told that person already that story. And before that moment, I was a complete asshole because I could not understand that people would forget anything. Just couldn't understand it. So if someone did not understand me because they couldn't follow my thought jumps, which I based on mutable experiences from a few weeks ago. Say I'm with friends and we do something, we talk about something, and then a month later something happens that calls associations with what happened then. Then I was assuming that the other people had the same associations, so they would be thinking about the same things that I was thinking about. It's more my autism than something else, but yeah, and then I would make my own insinuations or remarks that refer to that, assuming they were thinking about the same things that I was thinking because of associations that I get because of mutual experiences. And of course they couldn't follow that. And then I got irritated because I would think they were stupid. It took me a long time to slowly learn how it is to forget things. And yeah, to get more tolerated more, and then eventually even completely understand it. Because right now my memory is it's absolute horror. I mean, maybe my standards are too high, but I still kind of, you know, demand from myself that I just remember every file that is in this program, and that as soon as I need something, I just want to know where I coded it and how it worked, and that's nah. I cannot remember that at all anymore. So I have to continuously refigure out how my code works, as if someone else did write it. Oh, yeah, thank you, Valitak. I mean, I really... I'm thinking about saying more about myself, but people might think I am arrogant if I talk about my past, and I don't want that. So. But I just wanted to, you know, it's not just age. Of course, if you start to play chess, to use that example again, at age 6. That doesn't mean you will become world champion. At the very least, you must put a lot of time into it. A lot of time. And yeah, you must have talent for it. You must have a good memory. You must be smart enough to see patterns. And you must be able to learn on your own. In this case, that means use the internet and read, and remember what you read. There is a lot that can go wrong. But if you don't put a lot of time into it and effort, then it certainly is not going to work out. Yeah. Things did not work out in my life at all, by the way. I studied physics and everything went wrong. I went to the wrong university because nobody told me that there were two different physics, theoretical physics and practical physics. And I went to the university in the hometown where my parents lived, so I could stay with keep living with my parents. But as a result, I did practical physics. Well, really, I wanted to do theoretical physics. I was interested in quantum mechanics and special general relativity and stuff like that. But yeah, that was stupid, and nobody told me. I didn't know. And I should blame myself, of course. I could have just, sat down and think I take control of my life. Which university do I want to go to? Let's find out. Let's just start reading about different universities and what is the difference. But certainly at that age, I mean, then you're talking late in my teens. I have been diagnosed with autism, and I was emotionally at that age, maybe 12 or 11 or something like that. So I didn't do anything. No responsibility whatsoever. I just it was a scary business, and my decision was made to go study physics because I liked programming, electronics, mathematics, and I didn't know that you could do anything else. I thought that everything that you got on high school, all the subjects like history and how do you call that in English, aardrijkskunde, geography or something like that, and then the languages and biology and mathematics, the subjects that you get in high school. I thought that's what you can study also on university. I mean, it never occurred to me that you would not be taught anything at all until you were 18, and then go university and study something that you never heard of before. That didn't even occur to me. I thought, of course, you would learn everything, right? So the only thing that I could choose between was the same subjects that I had in high school. Except that because of my electronics hobby, and because my father was a programmer at Philips, and he had bought a PC a die, whatever, that I was programming on, I also knew you could do electronics and IT. However, I have always hated school. Seriously. Hated it. So I thought, I don't want to go study electronics. The only reason I knew you could study electronics because I became a radio pirate. I had made a transmitter for 105.5 megahertz, so just on the normal radio, and that way I had contacted a lot of other kids, teens that had that hobby. And a lot of them told me that they were studying electronics on the university. So that's how I knew that was possible. But I didn't want that because I thought if I make electronics my study, I'm going to hate my hobby, because my hobby was electronics. So I didn't want that. And the reason I didn't want to study computer science was because actually when I was programming, I got certain feeling in my head, like how do you call it, narrowing narrow conscious, something like that. I mean, like I was so incredibly concentrated that I started to feel bad in a bit of a negative way. So I had the feeling that if I would make programming my hobby, I would maybe not be able to, I would have to do it all day long, and I had the feeling that I would be unhealthy, something like that. The reason I went to do physics was because I liked science fiction. So for a romantic feeling, say spaceships, exploring galaxies, that was romantic in my eyes. And I had a vague feeling that going in that direction was nice. Plus I have, and I'm selling it anyway, I have done certain things in my youth that are so extraordinary that somewhere I had a feeling that maybe I could really mean something for humanity. And I actually went to study physics because I hoped to get involved with, say, fusion, so to make electricity with fusion reactors, because humanity is needing that, right? But yeah, like I said, I went to the wrong university, so I never got to do any much theory on the university itself. And I suffer from panic attacks since I was 12. So I had larger dropouts as well. Sometimes I sat home a year, or I was just suicidal my whole teens long. For example, I participated in the mathematical Olympics, and I became number 8 of my country, the Netherlands. So they wanted to start training me and then send me to Olympics of all of Europe. But at that time I was just very sick mentally. So just panic attack, suicidal thoughts. I could not bear studying complex mathematics. So I just said no. Story of my life, unfortunately. So if it wasn't for my instability in my head in terms of the anxiety, then I probably would have had a good paying job. But that's not the case. No, we don't need people anymore following money. Everything must be done by computers, AI at a certain point. And then everyone has a 365 days a year holiday. It's either that or we go back to having no civilization at all. So everyone becomes a farmer again. Loads of sickness. So no, I want science to keep progressing, and our civilization, our technological civilization, must keep existing. So we need those factories that make chips, and we need factories that make the metal and everything. It's incredibly complex whole. And it's really unstable as well. It's really scary. I think that if things go wrong, if another war breaks out, and even if they don't throw with atom bombs, then I think that it's the end of humanity. We'll not be able to do it again. So it's definitely scary what they're doing now with AI, but I think it's an absolute necessity if humanity ever wants to survive this. And we need fusion. We need abundance of energy, clean energy. And we need to colonize other planets, of course. And I need to fix this. I've been thinking actually about something we could do together instead of this project. I saw on YouTube about voice recognition that they could do in real time. And I had my own thoughts about that a long time ago, I must say. And I never worked it out or started working on it even. My idea was that what you would have to do is basically the same as, I don't know the word in English. What is it? Stenography? So people, a stenograph types on a keyboard like this, where every finger is almost only doing 2 keys, and they press multiple keys at the same time to get syllables. And not all characters are on it, but if you press multiple at the same time, then but it's based on how it sounds. I'm getting more and more problems with, and I've never been good at languages, I must say, but it gets harder and harder to translate my thoughts into language. What is a word for what is the English word for when it sounds like, how it sounds like? Just can't think of the word anymore. It's horror, but auditory maybe. I think you have an auditory memory. It's that is another word. Damn it. So you can type English, but then not really English, but more like in a certain way, so that if you pronounce it, it sounds the same as. No, it's not pronunciation. Anyway, so stenography is the same. They type keys in a way such that correspond to how things sound, and then with whole syllables, so parts of words at the same time. So if you say interactive, you would type inter is 1 key, ek is 1 key, if is 1 key, or multiple keys, but one press. No, it did not mean synonym. So I thought what you need to do is you just, for voice recognition, you make you do a fast Fourier transform. That's the method. You just do a Fourier transform, and then the Fourier transform at any moment is a certain pattern, and that pattern changes like So if you look at my mouse, say, Fourier transform is of course something in multiple dimensions, but you can think of it as a mouse in 2 dimensions. And then let's say if I say it's here, and if I say it's there, and if I said ooh, it's here. But also going in between, if I say you make a sound of gesture, and then especially going from one syllable. Sorry, I don't think it's syllable. How do you know? How do you call a part of a word? So in this case, you have not. That's one part, and then shall. That's the second part. Is that a syllable? Oh, thank God. So I think that if you train a neural network on the gestures inside the Fourier space that are linking one syllable to another, then you have a limited number of transitions. You have a limited number of syllables, and you have therefore a limited number of transitions from one syllable to another. And it should be able to recognize those transitions, especially when you have multiple syllables on a row. Of course, you can even do the word gaps maybe. So say if I go from normal keyboard, okay, there's a slight pause, but still. The way I pronounce it, milky. Yeah, that's still a gesture going from mul to key. So if you already recognize the transition from nor to mol, then you know the mol, and then you have only you only look for syllables that come after mol. If you understand what I mean. So that's more limited than if you just start a sentence with this, then it's just really the first syllable. But yeah, I guess it's more complicated than that, because in many cases, I think as has been proved, is that humans understand sentences because they can understand what is said, so they understand the sound, because they know what the sentences are meaning. Yeah, if I would say this sentence here, George, much like the one played on the express sounds instead of, you might just hear piano, although I didn't say it, because because you're reading along, but also because we were talking about pianos before, and it's just in the context of pianos, and we say 2 sentences back, I already said play piano. I started playing piano when I was 3, and when I was 10 I was still playing the piano, and then sometimes we started learning chords, and so chords is much like they played on the express sounds of that. I didn't pronounce it, but yeah, you're just gonna guess, he said again played, so there's probably gonna be a piano. And what I talked about, if you just go from syllable to syllable, then it has to guess that it is piano from the fact that there is an A in front of it and there's a no after it. It's going from there's piano with 3 things even. So you have to talk a lot more clear to actually hear that word is then piano, because you miss the context completely from the rest of the sentence of the story. Nevertheless, that is, I think, a beginning, and then of course You can add a neural network that uses context from the rest of the text afterwards. Anyway, yeah, what I wanted to say was, this is YouTube. Let's not touch this one. Search. I have no idea. Real time. Speech recognition. Python. I think it was on Python. Assembly AI. Python speech tutorial for beginners. Open source speech to text tutorial. 3 months ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 months ago, 10 months ago. I don't think what I meant is not existing that long. Whisper, that's what it was, 2 weeks ago. So if you watch this, I was watching this, I think, or something related to it. So anyway, Whisper is a part of it anyway. So they made it. This is open source. You can download it, and then you can run the neural network on your own graphics card. The video that I saw was using a 3090 RTX 3090, so that's quite a lot of money. But if you don't have it yet, but maybe it runs on a simpler card. I have a 2080, so maybe it will already run on that. Actually, it probably certainly runs on it if you run the simpler version. They have a smaller version and a medium version and a large version. So and then they get better and better at understanding. With a lot of background noise and stuff, but I don't have any background noise. My voice is rather reproducible, so either it understands me or it doesn't, because I'm having too heavy an accent. If they trained it with Dutch accents, then I don't think it would make any mistake understanding me. Now, while watching YouTube about this Whisper thing, so I was thinking, well, I could do this on stream, get it to work. So I would start from scratch and then get speech recognition working. But on the other hand, loads and loads of YouTubes already exist, I see, anyway, that explain how to do it. Well, not in C++. Most, well, what I saw at the beginning was all Python, right? But that's because I typed Python. Now I know that there was Whisper. How about I type real-time speech recognition and then Whisper? And then C++. Who knows? OpenAI Whisper, multilingual AI speech recognition, live up tutorial 2 weeks ago. I think this is the one that I watched, yeah. So if you want to watch the same YouTube that I was watching, you can watch this one. What this guy did was he recorded this text, and then he played that back over his speaker and recorded that again. And then he played that back over his speaker and recorded that again. And it sounded worse and worse on holler and more background noise. So that in the last one, you could hardly understand it yourself as a human. And the AI running on his own local GPU could understand it, except for a few characters. Yeah, that's wrong. Instead of whisper, it makes a whistler. But that's mostly background noise. I mean, the first one is perfect. So yeah, I would be very interested in playing with this as well. Oh, this is the large model, so that takes I think 10 gigabytes of memory. So you need 10 gigabytes memory at least on your GPU. Not even sure how much mine has. Hey. Yeah, this looks interesting. Zero Plus programming, live developed vulkan engine. 44 people are watching already, so it must be interesting. And it's live. I'm gonna click on it. What is this? It's just showing another YouTube page. Ridiculous. Let's wait until... Come on, click on it. Yeah, this is too much delay here, right? Too much delay. How long shall we wait? A few more times. This is just funny. I have more and more mouses. If I move this mouse to this mouse. Okay, I feel I'm making too much advertisement for the scammers, but it starts looking funny. Yeah, definitely. Probably should also be reading this or watching it. 1 day ago, the bubble is bursting. Do this now. 1 day ago, yeah. I'm going to watch it, I think. I'll end the stream.